Welcome to the 21st Century Project webinar series. These webinars are designed for participants of our long-term training course in coaching and members of our partner organizations across Europe. We explore the benefits and unique characteristics of innovative organizational management tools and approaches. This project is proudly supported by the European Commission within the Erasmus+ program.
Today, what I previously planned to do is first thing go through the homework. We checked with Marcus, and so far we know that we have the records. Georgia, we can see you. So the homework was done by Adam and Ruchi. You still will have some time, the others who didn't do it, to do it afterwards, because for us it's one thing is that it somehow makes you put it down, which helps to remember things, but also last but not least, from the project point of view, for us it's also kind of evidence of the impact of the webinar. So I would like to kindly ask you to do it, because you can help us also with this matter. Like, then we will show the proof that we have these things done, that you've practiced it, you thought about it and everything. My question now to those who didn't do the homework yet, or they didn't write it down yet, my question is if you already at least somehow thought about it. Yes, perfect. So maybe we can start now, Marcus. I don't know if the number of the people allow, but maybe if we make two groups of people, and some of them will be just observers, a short time to reflect, to go through the thoughts you have. And what I would like to have at the end of, I don't know, 10 minutes of breakout rooms, if you can come up with some questions. So the sharing part will be about questions you might be having about the tool, how to use the Scrum. Okay, so please share it briefly, what you did, or at least how you thought about it. And if you come up with 2 or 3 questions that will reflect how you thought about it, that will be great, because then we will have a short Q&A session and we will now deal with the questions. So we plan to give you a chance to practice more today, at least to some of you, so it can be helpful. So now I will share the...
Now Simona entered. Maybe just to repeat once more the instruction and then to put the breakout rooms.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. Welcome, Simona. It's great to have you. It's perfect. You did not participate last week, but it doesn't matter. Maybe it's the great time for you to join the small group work too, because you will have the chance to listen to people who will share the homework. If you haven't done it in a written form, please share at least what you were thinking. So the questions are: what do you tried from the Scrum principles? One success or one challenge if you faced some, or what were your key learning moments? But the result of this short group should be questions. Collect the questions you might be having, no matter if you wrote it down or not, at least from the thoughts you might be having or from what you remember from the last time. Try to share what Scrum is, maybe explain to Simona, the group that will have Simona, because I think she's the only one who is here today for the first time. Share it with Simona, explain it to Simona, and then we will meet back here in 10 minutes with some of your questions to answer them. Okay?
Perfect. Okay, 10 minutes, just 2 groups of 3 or 4 persons.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Yeah. Recording in progress. So now we are again recording. So now just can you please, on behalf of each group, share what was happening in the group and what potential questions you might be having? Who would like to share on behalf of the first group?
What is the first group? Who is the first group?
It's your group, Adam.
Okay.
I now decided, yes. So you can share, yeah.
No, I have to put my thoughts into
Order.
yeah. Okay, so I think everything went pretty good when it comes to me, Ruchi, and Georgia. I think all of us, Georgia even used it with her clients, which me and Ruchi didn't, because we either didn't have clients or it was just better to use it on our personal goals. And Simona said that she figured out what Scrum is from us explaining it and from reading the presentation from last time.
Okay. And,
So, yes.
And do you have any questions on behalf of your group?
Oh, that was the question? Oops. I don't think we had a different question. How's our coaching going? But that wasn't connected to Scrum. So
okay, yeah, it doesn't matter. It was just the place when you are reflecting the first experiences. Maybe you might have some questions. So now it would be time to answer them. Yeah, but
only if
share.
Simcha has something, since she wasn't here. But I don't know.
Yeah, I will now check with Simcha how well you managed to introduce Scrum to her. So let's see. Okay.
Don't worry about me. It's okay.
Simcha, you know that I am deeply interested in you and how you understand Scrum. No, but this is good. This is good for all of us, maybe to remind. So how did you get it from your friends who explained?
Okay, firstly, I'm really sorry that I wasn't here last week because I absolutely forgot about it, and I thought that that the webinars are starting this week.
Okay.
But I will study the presentations. And I think that I need more time to like figure it out. But as I was reading the presentation and other people were talking, I found out that I kind of am doing it on myself.
Okay, okay.
These last weeks, but I need more time, I think.
Okay, okay. But if you just try to, if you could, I don't want to put you under any special pressure, but just 1 or 2 sentences, like how you understood it. What's the point?
That when you want to like achieve something, you need to look at it as small steps, not one big path, but small steps you need to take. And you also can ask for help from others. That maybe navigate you or look you.
Yeah, that's better. Okay. Thank you, Simona. Wonderful. I even wouldn't be able to explain it better my way. So you did it, and it's perfect. Georgia would like to say something. Georgia.
Thanks to my team, I felt better after this short sharing, and I want to comment or to bring something that I realized. Okay, Scrum for me, it was just something that I heard, and as I said in the first part, for sure I found it demanding, interesting, but also demanding, so I need time. And when I try to realize to use it in my clients, I started exactly the next day of our meeting, but of course my vision around this was very vague, so I couldn't use it. but then a few days after, when I gave some time and tried to read it and to understand it and all this stuff, I used with a client that I knew she's very focused, very organized and all this stuff, and we have been doing quite a lot of sessions together. And I realized that in her case, even if I didn't really use, even if I didn't know exactly 100% how to use it, so I take the basic structure about the steps and whatever. It really worked because she put specific steps and whatever. But when I saw your presentation, and because I was very confused in my mind, I realized that I have to do it for myself. And when I started to do it to myself, it didn't work the same as to my client, because I'm not focused at all on what I really wanted to, and I try to do two things at the same time. So I realized that Scrum is a great tool, but if you are really looping or going around, it makes things worse. So this is what I said also with my team. It's like, okay, in my case, I couldn't really use it, but maybe in the future, or if I really set specific goal, very measurable, if I can say it like this, probably it will work as my client.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Georgia, for your reflection, because it's obvious that you are really like thinking about it deeply, and that's what I always appreciate. Yes, this is a very specific tool that you can use only in some cases. This tool is not good for the first meeting with the client or setting the goal, you know. To use this tool, you already have to have the goal very well settled. And once you really know what you want to do, and it's very measurable, so it's something really very concrete or specific, then this can be very helpful, because then you can start asking yourself a question, okay, so what are the small steps, how I can get there, or what is like something that I really have to do. This is also the priorities that we learned how to prioritize the priorities last week. Like something is must have, something is should have, something is could have, and something is not now. You know, that you really have to identify what is the bare minimum, at least the bare minimum. And in that case, it really can be very helpful. Yeah, but thank you for sharing this, because if you are in the loop, this will not help you out, because you don't know what to do, so you don't know how to break it into the sprints. So yeah, thank you very much. Okay, the second group, which was Caroline, which was Bercha, who is more observer, and who was Lena, I guess. So who of you would like to share with us how it went in your group? Caroline, you're smiling like a Beverly Hills actress. So Lena, you want to share with us?
Yes, of course.
Of course, thank you.
Yes. We said that it is a difficult tool to use for yourself, but when you use it with a client that has very many things in his mind and he's a little bit chaotic, it could be very helpful with these very strong questions about the prioritizing of his needs. Yes, that was it, I think. But I used it 4 days after a webinar. So I think that it is a tool that you have to to read. You have to be very prepared to use it as a coach.
Yeah. That's true. You have to be sure how to use it, and you have to be confident in how to use it, if I get it right. Is that what you meant, Lena?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you too, Lena. Caroline, would you like to comment it or add anything? No. Okay. Yes, thank you. I hope that this short sharing somehow got you or helped you to get back to the topic of today's webinar, and to recall what we learned last week. Now I will share a presentation to clarify. Sorry. In the meanwhile, I closed the presentation because I was sending it. Give me a few seconds to do it. Yes. So just before we go to practice, let's together clarify or recall the advantages, like where we see the advantages of Scrum, like yes, where do we see the advantages? So what this tool can help us with. First of all, it brings a structure and clarity. If we have clear goals, then we can have very clear steps. If we know how to do it, we also can have a visual progress tracking because we have these check apps and we know how we are proceeding. And we also have these loops of regular feedback, which means that we more often think about how we are going, how we are doing, or if we need to adapt our sprints towards to the goal, or if we even have to adapt the goal. So it's the structure and clarity at first, what really helps us with. Then it's motivation and achievement. We discussed it last webinar also. Like if we help ourselves or the clients to understand and see the small wins, we can make them or us celebrate it. And this celebration of small wins is something that helps people be motivated because it's not something very big, very far in the future, but it's simply a small thing that I managed. Today, I managed to go to the gym as I wanted. Today, I did the Italian language on the Duolingo as I wanted. If I want to be fluent, I need to practice 20 minutes a day, and again, I managed. And we also, and as Simcha perfectly mentioned, we can create or we create a peer support structure. So the client knows that he has a network of people who somehow support him, or it can be even the coach who is somewhere to be informed about the small steps. And last but not least, it's the big topic of empowerment too, like the people who can have the small wins, understand what's going on, and it is rooted in their own wish, as we explained last week, that the product owner, it's not the coach, but it's the client. It's the client, it's the young people who decides. So it's really youth-led goal setting. It is rooted in their needs and in their understanding. We help them to make a better choice in their priorities, and we give them a space for self-reflection. So they feel the ownership of the whole thing more clearly, maybe, than in other coaching techniques. And by giving them the ownership, we really empower them a lot. So these are the biggest advantages, at least as far as I see them. Why to use Scrum, or how I sometimes use this tool, not only with the clients, but also exactly as some of you said, also on myself. And now we will briefly speak about the competencies that you have to have once you decide to use the Scrum methodology in the coaching context. It's just a revision for all of us, only summarizing what we have already said. So first of all, you have to understand the framework of the Scrum. We already know that it's rooted in Agile. We already know what Simcha explained, that you take a measurable goal, you break it down into small sprints, you create a network of supporters, and you also create a system of regular check-ins. So you understand what's going on, you are somehow updated, you are updating others, and by this you are slowly moving towards your goal. So you have to understand what is sprint and how to manage it, and you have to understand how to create this backlog, which is the list of the priorities with this Moscow structure. Then, of course, you still need the coaching competencies. Which are the most important here? Definitely, it's active listening. You have to be you have to be sure that you are really hearing what you are hearing. You have to be very good in powerful questioning here, because here by the powerful questions you help the person to clarify the sprints and the goal. And last but not least, you have to be very good in goal setting. So sometimes you use the Scrum methodology after other technique that will help the client to clarify the goal. So you have to know how to help the client to set the good goal for Scrum. By good questions, you have to help the client to understand how to break it into smaller steps and how the whole process works. And then you have to be good in active listening. Next, of course, if we apply Scrum into the field of young people, you have to understand how to engage young people, for sure. It's very complicated. I just, before you got back from the breakout rooms, I shared with Marcus an experience I am having from yesterday. I am still quite depressed because of it. I was giving a workshop at a secondary school for young artists, and it was a workshop about talent, how to identify the talent, how to develop it, for what purpose. And always when I work with this workshop with different target groups, I always frame the topic of talents by values. So I always ask, what kind of person you want to become? Because only when you have this ultimate goal or vision of who you are becoming, only then it is useful to ask how I can use my talents. Because talents, just for talents, they don't simply work for any bigger purpose. And the answers I was receiving yesterday from the young people, they were really very depressing. Like, they said that they have no goals, no visions. They don't want to become good people. They want to become just rich people and not caring about anything. And that they want to sell their organs on the black market, and that there is nothing good in it, that they don't need any talent workshop because they don't have any talents. And it was really very sad. And I really needed to adapt very quickly in my workshop to get their attention and to really engage them. I kind of manage, I think, in a good way, because some of them then approached me that they have never experienced anything like that before. But it really requires the knowledge of the engagement techniques, like understanding what to react or what not to react, how to take into consideration their thoughts and ideas that might be very much different from what you expected. So this competence in the youth work is very essential part of competencies here too. Of course, you have to have this age-appropriate communication, which can be always a trick, because when you want to adapt with the language, for example, to Alpha or Gen Z, they sometimes say it's even worse than if you speak like a boomer. So you have to find the appropriate balance, but of course you have to be able to explain the Scrum to young people. And yes, safeguarding awareness, you have to be simply aware of what the limits of the roles are. And you also need to have these facilitation abilities, because the Scrum methodology is not previously the coaching technique as such, and it can bring a lot of things if you, for example, do it in a group settings. If you work with groups or small groups using the Scrum, which can be very, very, very efficient also, you have to know how to work with the group dynamics. You have to know how to work with the conflicts in the group. And you also have to understand how to manage the energy of the group to use it for the benefits of the tool and for the goals of the people. So this is just a summary of what we already said, only put in the perspective of the coaching competences. And now what we will do is 1 hour exercise. And after that, we will have a short break, and then we will gather back, the rest of us, and to close it somehow. But we wanted to use the chance of having Lena so that you can all practice. So basically what will happen now is that you will have 1 hour time of practice, 30 minutes for each of you. Please think of some very, very measurable, preferably personal development topic. It doesn't have to be something very complex or wise. Just maybe choose one of the competencies, or just look at yourself as a coach, choose one of the coaching competencies and apply it to that. So I don't know, I want to become a better active listener, or I want to become a better youth worker. Whatever the goal, so what competence you want to develop and how the final competence development looks like. Create the backlog as we did last week. Select appropriate sprint items, so what needs to be done. Decide on checkups. We will have 2 couples who will practice, and then we will have a group of observers who will be just there and looking at it, because also observing is a very resourceful part of learning. And also these observers, if they can then serve us maybe with observations in the chat, if they feel like it, or personally, if they feel like it, it's up to them. We will highly appreciate it. So now Marcus will create the couples plus observers, and it's 5 to 5. So you will have 1 hour to 5 to 6, and then we will have 15 minutes break. So we will get back at 10 past 6. If I count it correctly, Marcus. Do I count it correctly?
So the exercise is 1 hour and then 15 minutes break?
Yes.
Yeah? Then it's correct, yeah.
Rita.
And then make the groups like this, thinking that before Ruchi, Veronica, and Simona said they prefer to be observers. And so in each of the 2 groups, you have enough people left to have the coach and the coachee.
Yeah,
Okay.
Georgia, did you have any question? Because I thought you wanted to say something.
Yes, a short one. Can you remind me what it means? Select sprint items.
Yeah.
Sprint items.
It is simply breaking the bigger goal into the short steps. The sprint is the short step. But you can also, if you want to clarify some things, and this is not only for Georgia, it's for all of you, you can also find it in the presentation that I shared in the group, and all the words are explained there. So just in case you need to recall it, it is there also, so you can use it. But now the answer is the sprint. It's the very, if you want to become a better listener. So what are the concrete steps that you have to do to become a better listener? And this short step, it's called sprint. Because you have to break this, what it means to be a better listener, to the smaller steps. Did it help, Georgia? Yes. I am happy. Okay, so that's it for now. And we will meet here at 10 past 6.
Do you all have the instructions, links that you need? Is everything clear before you go to breakout rooms? Or any question left? Okay. Okay, super. Then enjoy the next hour.
It was great to see you. Yes, we already put you in one of the groups so that you can observe the process there. Okay, so before Lena needs to leave, which will happen soon, maybe Lena, can we start with you sharing so that we don't miss your voice? How did it go? What were your key takeaways from the short session you had?
First of all, it was very difficult for me to do this on the English language.
Yeah.
Very difficult. Second, I would like to thank Adam because he was so helpful. It was very difficult being a client for me. And it was very difficult being a coach and using this tool in English. But Adam is very good at it. And we found goals, and he helped me make some small steps and make them measurable and see when I would when I will think that I could reach the goal, and how can I remind myself being disciplined in my goals.
Perfect.
Mhm.
Lena, can you also share your goal with us, or you don't want to?
Yes, my goal was not being procrastinating, and we said that it would be very helpful if I could put some daily mini goals and prioritize my needs. So we said that with the help of Adam, I said that I want to have a sprint of 4 weeks, and in the first week, I would like to finish my lesson plan and the materials that I will need for my school evaluation. Yes.
Wow. Also, concrete example of the sprint. Thank you so much, Lena. I have still one question for you, if it's okay.
Yes, of course.
So that we all can benefit from your experience. You said it was very difficult, especially in English language. I can totally understand. And you also said that Adam was great and helpful. What helped you to clarify the goal or to go through the tool? What Adam did that was helpful?
He was setting me very powerful questions, and when because there is a mess in my head these days, and he was very Georgia, Anastasia, υπομονετικός.
Patience.
Yeah,
Patient.
yes, very patient, and he was saying again what I told in the beginning, and he was making the question. I didn't understand the question, or I couldn't find an answer, and then he was setting the question with another way, and this was very helpful for me. Yes.
And it's amazing that you share this, because to hear it from the point of view of a client, it's always a great feedback for all of us. Like, patience can be the key. Yeah. If we patiently repeat, if we patiently wait, if we patiently remind, sometimes this is what the client needs the most. Yeah. Thank you very much, Lena, for sharing your experience and for joining us, even if you need to go sooner. That was great to have you here for a while. That's perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Adam, now I think it's your turn, because your name was mentioned several times. How did it go from your perspective?
I think it was a little difficult for me to, like you said, Dita, when we don't already have a goal set, and this is in our like second, third session. It is very difficult and daunting to go from setting a goal now and then, okay, so what are the steps? I could tell that it was difficult for Lena to go from the goal and then to the actual steps. It's maybe too big of a task. And then I tried to do different questions, like try to tackle it in a different way, and yeah, that's what I struggle with.
Yeah, and what was your goal? What competence or what field of your professional development did you choose?
When I was a coachee,
Yeah.
It was such a great goal that I completely forgot what the goal was. Wait, what was it?
He was very kind because he started with a goal to have more time to focus only to the job that actually wants to do. But because it was very difficult for me to be a coach and use this tool, he said another goal after that.
Yes, I know now.
It was creating a mood table or something like this.
A mood board, yes.
Yes, to finish a mood board on 2 weeks.
Adam, you're such a kind client. Adapting your goal
Yes.
according to the needs of your coach. It's amazing.
Yes, very humble coachy.
Very,
Yes.
very humble coach. Thank you. Veru, thank you that you also now helped Adam to recall what he did. Yeah, now it's the time for the observers. I don't know who was observing where, but I guess Vercho, it was you. Maybe if you can share
Yes.
with us a little bit what you saw, if it's okay for you, if you feel like.
Yeah, I wrote it down because there was like really good questions and I wanted to remember them.
Perfect.
And so I liked when Adam said that what skills you think you need to stop procrastinating. Like
Okay.
he was trying to spot skills that Lana needs to help her to achieve the goal. And the good question was also what will motivate you to finish it. So he was trying to find a motivation spot Lana can use to finish the task. And also I like the space he gave her to think about the answers, because when I started the coaching, I thought that when client is quiet or thinking that it's the bad thing, you need to like somehow fill the space with something. And but I learned that it's a good thing to be quiet. Mm-hmm.
Vercho, thank you. Yes, sorry. Continue. Go on.
Yeah, okay. And I like the summarizing that Adam summarized the things afterwards. She just repeating what they talked about and what's the goal, what's the steps and these things. Yeah, and I liked Lena that she asked about who can help Adam with the graphics. And she also asked about obstacles and how he can overcome them. And and the good question was also what will be the first step, like where to start this journey.
Amazing. And it's so great, Veru, that you wrote it down also, because sometimes it can be really like a very simple question that can be changing for the whole process. Like, what can be the obstacles? I mean, it's a very obvious question, but once you are asked it, it really forces you to reflect it, and it completely usually changes the dynamics. Thank you so much, even for the examples that you used. And also thank you for sharing this thing that I think all beginning coaches have in common. I also had it, that when you start with the coaching, you still have this feeling that something must be going on. And if there is the silence, that maybe it's bad, but it is really the situation where you let the silence be and happen. It's the place where the client is usually thinking very deeply, and you can distinguish between the good silence and bad silence. And slowly, professional growing into coaching competencies, we all understand that this good silence is very productive for the whole process. Thank you very much, Veru, for your yes.
Yeah, and I wanted to just add that sometimes it's really good to say it at the beginning. For me, it's good practice to say it at the beginning, that client knows that when he is quiet, he have space to think and he don't need to like rush with the answers.
Exactly. there are some kind of the clients that really need to hear this, because then we all, I think we all maybe kind of experienced a client who is responsible, who feels responsible for the coach often. So if they need to think, and if they in their head they have this dialogue that, oh, maybe I'm thinking too long, maybe I should already reply. Some of the clients can get themselves under this kind of pressure. That's true. So sometimes maybe to mention it, like to say it, like, okay, you can have as much time as you need for thinking, can be a great step again. Yeah, thank you so much. And as I said, sometimes a very basic question like, for example, who can help you, who can support you, or what can be the obstacle, as you mentioned. It's a very simple question and very obvious one, and still it brings so much out of the person. I sometimes even forget myself about the power of it. Like yesterday I saw a short webinar on how to use the values in coaching again. And again, it was a very clear question, like put down 3 values that you understand is important in your life, and then simply check if you live in accordance with them or not. I mean, it's very obvious. And I said, okay, so I'll do it. And then I started struggling. What would be the values? How do I identify if I really live according to them? What can I do in a different way? And it very, very obvious question, and it completely changed the dynamics of the whole day of mine today. Okay, Veru, thank you so much. I don't know if there were other observers in this couple who would like to share. So you have the chance now. And if you don't feel like doing it while talking, you can also send it in chat, because anything you observed might still be very helpful for the others. The second couple, it was Caroline and help me, Caroline and Georgia.
Georgia, yes.
Yes, Caroline and Georgia. So who would like to start, Caroline or Georgia? We only have 2 couples, so we can afford sharing in both couples.
I can start.
Thank you, Caroline.
So, yeah, as I think Lena said, that it's quite difficult to be a coachee, because in your mind, like in my mind at least, because I already know the coaching process kind of, it should be like, it should come easier for me, but I feel like I'm still the same way as a client is like, oh, what is, yes, it's still confusing, the process, although I know the process from the other side, kind of, even if it's not perfect at all, at any means, it's still kind of like that. I really liked Georgia's like outlay. It was really nice. I actually wrote down all her questions and everything. I made note of that as well, because I really liked it, that she had like this very countable kind of approach, that we could actually see how much the motivation or the readiness developed. So that was like really good for me to see. Yeah, I like that one. And as far as being a coach, I agree with what Vasilis said last time, that it's so simple that it's complicated. Like if you get off the rails, then it's easy to get off the rails, and then it's hard to come back on the rails. I felt like that, yes, there's this clear simplicity when you just take a look at it. It's like, okay, this step, this step, this step. But in action, it's yeah, you really have to master the simplicity of it. And that's what I really felt. And I remembered Vasilis' words, and I was like, yes, 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 exactly, exactly. I agree so much. And yeah, so it's all about the structure keeping and all of that in here.
Thank you, Caroline. I really like what you say, mastering the simplicity, because I really think it's the point. Like it is so structured and so clear and so obvious and so simple, but to really manage to answer the steps, it requires much more than simplicity. Yeah, thank you. And I have one kind request, if it's possible, because you said that you wrote down some of the Georgia's questions. Can you maybe share one of them, 2 of them, just to have inspiration?
Well, I have all of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at Georgia. He's like, oh, very good.
Yeah. I have all of them. I was taking notes from both sides just in case.
That's why you didn't reply immediately.
Yeah, because she was writing down what you say.
Yes, because for me, otherwise I forget. It's like a stressful situation, like for Gucci sometimes as well, and I forget. And for me, it makes it clearer if I just record everything. But yeah, so I don't really know what to share like that. Everything was quite good. So happy for being with Georgia.
If you just choose some of them, you can write them in the chat for all of us.
Just some of them?
Yeah.
Okay, so for example, what I really liked, which like could be forgotten so easily, it was like in the beginning, checking in with the level of motivation and readiness on a scale, and then in the end as well. So even if it just froze because it was 25 minutes, but it was still visible, the kind of results from where we began and where we got to. So I like that.
Yeah, again, and it's very simple, but it makes you think, like it makes you, okay, how really do I even feel? And now you are there in your inner world, and it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can actually like feel the result as well with each like session and method. And yeah, so and also she was like checking with priorities as well, like taking my goals, like is it truly my priority, again with motivation and everything, which was really good. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Caroline. Thank you so much. Georgia, how would you continue on behalf of your couple?
Being a coach, I think it's always a challenge. I think no one will get 100% familiar with this. In the beginning, it was more difficult, or it was more difficult than it was more difficult than I thought. Sorry, I thought it was more difficult than in reality, and that helped me. In the beginning, I realized that Caroline didn't have a specific goal, or she didn't want to share a specific goal. So I said, okay, let's go in another way. We will find the goal. Because it was obvious that she had the goal, but let's see which one she would pick. She would pick, yes. Being a coach, with her in this coaching session, with this specific tool that we had to work. Yes, it's very difficult, but today I felt that I could really manage it more than I expected. And it was very, very helpful that Caroline, during the process, started to be very, very clear and focused. Yes. And she gave me, because we haven't mentioned this, or maybe we forget it, but also the feedback from the client, it's so important during the process. So I really understood that, okay, we are going in a good way, because she was either more talkative, or when she had these silences, it was like, I need some time for myself. So I realized that, okay, she's working, yes, and she has a lot of stuff for herself. So, and I felt this after a long time. I mean, I'm doing these sessions. I haven't felt this mutual feedback from my clients. And while she tried to loop or to go around goal or the topic. She was very, I could say honest, but I'm not sure if it's this word, so I will describe it. She was very honest, with herself and reveal the real goal in the process. Yes. Yes. I enjoyed this session, and also as being a client, an online client, and I mentioned this intentionally. I've never enjoyed more an online question before like this. I don't know if it makes sense because my structure was completely none. But sorry, but I mean that I really enjoyed. It was very strong, very impactful in general as a session, but specifically as an online session, I haven't felt like this before as a client. Yes, I had quite few aha moments. Oh my God. Yes. And as you said, simplicity is the key element. It was like, yes, I know why you are asking me this question. I don't have an answer. Why? I had a lot of not gaps, silences, but I felt very nice after some seconds. To have it and to relieve. And also the observers in this coaching session helped a lot with their presence, that was also their absence, that with their cameras that were also closed. And when we had some aha moments, they were very discreet. Discreet is the word.
Yeah, discreet. Yeah.
Discreet, yes, discreet.
It's so great, Lucia, that you share it. That was a huge compliment to Caroline, to the process, to coaching, to the Scrum tool, to many things. So thank you so much. And I am really happy that you enjoyed it and that you had some insights. And yeah, exactly. Sometimes we get surprised by getting some insights just because we didn't ask the questions ourselves, or we asked it and didn't answer properly. But when there is another person asking and wanting the answer, it's different. And it can be, it changes the dynamics of it. So thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much, really. You mentioned observers in the group by their presence and absence at the same time. I love this connection. What about the observers? Who was there and who would like to share? Whatever you saw, which might help us all to learn. We will appreciate. So who was observer and feels like sharing, either in chat or personally? That would be really helpful.
Well, I was there, and as they said, me and Ruchi, we turned off our cameras and microphones, and from time to time, I felt like I'm not supposed to be there because it was so intimate that I was trying to zone out, so I will not disturb them. But at the same time, I had to remind myself that I need to listen to them. And I really loved one question and answer. I don't know who asked who, but it was something like, what is the hardest step or something to achieve something you want? And they answered that it is to start. The hardest step is to just start. And I can really feel it's myself that sometimes it's not really that hard to do it, but to start it.
And again, a very simple question, what's the hardest thing? Then you just realize that it's just to start. So then you can discuss what can help you to start, what can make this start easier or more bearable, and you're suddenly in another level of the discussion and you're still moving forward. So yeah. And Simcho, did you get the structure of the Scrum from the session that you observed?
Yeah, I think that I did.
Yeah, perfect. That's great. It's also another purpose of being observer, that you can learn, and as you have not with us last time, still you can benefit. That's perfect. Great.
Thank you.
Is there anything else anybody of you would like to mention or add or share before we move to the closing of today's webinar? Okay, so it seems like everything that was supposed to be said was said, at least for now. Thank you all. Sure, Ruchi, no problem at all. Let's move to the final part of the webinar today. Before I introduce you the homework, which will be a little bit more maybe complex than the last one, but still please do the first one and now also the second one. Let's do one final round of closing of this experience. Give me a few seconds, I'm sharing. Okay, do you see it? Do you see me sharing the screen? Perfect. And here I have a technical question. Did you see me sharing the presentation before the practice? Or you don't remember? Before you went to practice, I spoke about the competencies. Did you share? Did you see the presentation, Georgia?
No.
You didn't, because I thought I was sharing. Marcus told me that he didn't see it, and Vasily said that he saw it. So we were confused. But now you see it, okay?
I saw it. I saw it before.
You saw the presentation. It's
I mean the oh wait, well,
If you talk about the competencies, no.
them and no.
Okay. Then I thought I was sharing, or it doesn't matter. But now you see it, okay? Perfect. I will share the presentation with you anyway, so you will have it. Let's now close this short part with one metaphor. If you should now say one metaphor about application of Scrum tool in the youth coaching, what it would be. You can say it loudly, you can write it in the chat, you can stay silent forever, up to you. So, who already has the metaphor? It's up to you. I know that this might require a few minutes of thinking, maybe, a few seconds rather. A metaphor about applying Scrum into the youth coaching or into coaching. So, Georgia, I think you have the metaphor with the smile. You are muted.
I have it in Greek, but I don't know if it makes sense in English. That's
Right.
It's okay. It's like you fall from a cloud.
It makes sense. Yes.
You fall. It's like the closest I can. You fall from the cloud. You walk, and you fell from a cloud.
Okay. Thank you so much. Adam, you have the metaphor already?
Yes, I do. I just didn't know how to write it. So it's like when you're sprinting. So every step is some kind of boost of motivation or end of a sprint or checkup. Every step on the ground. I don't.
I think it's explicit definition of Scrum, not metaphor, but I understand how you mean it. Like this metaphor from the sports field, from the running field, from the
Well, because it's sprints, you know.
I know. That's why I said. Thank you so much. Who else has some kind of nice metaphor? Maybe we have something in the chat. Yes, we have from Ruchi. It is like gardening. Think a lot, plan a lot, do small steps, make the ground, choose the plants, plant them, water them, take care of them, a lot of them to do. It's amazing. Yes. Step by step in gardening. Because only then you can harvest. Yeah. Thank you so much. Ruchi? One or two more metaphors. Who has it? Anastasia, do you have a metaphor? I miss your voice today. I want to hear you.
No, actually, I don't. I was reading also your presentation from the previous time. And I didn't understand George's metaphor, and Adam confused me.
So now you don't even know what metaphor is, right?
Thinking, okay, let's remember.
It's a Greek word.
Yeah, it's a Greek word, metaphor.
Yeah.
Okay, that was non-verbal metaphor, yeah.
I was like, okay, maybe I thought with only my remembering. I think you could remember from the previous time. I would say consistency is the key. But then I saw the presentation and it almost a part, but not all of it. I don't know. Maybe I would say it's like while I was reading your presentation, I felt like I'm in a volleyball game because I was playing volleyball, and I was like, we are a team, and we need to act fast and things like this, and everything can be playing to find another solution, and then to play and if you're gonna lose or you're gonna win, but you act.
And it's a nice metaphor. Yeah, finally we have nice metaphor. Yeah. Thank you, Anastasia. Thank you. We have maybe, okay, Greek subtitles for Anastasia. Yeah, very good to know. Okay, let me now introduce you to homework to close the whole webinar, because the webinars are supposed to be these online meetings plus your practice, but also some of your individual work that we somehow want to collect. And also, as I already said, for us, it's some kind of proof for the project, but also mainly a proof of your development in the tools that we are introducing here. So please, there will be 3 different kind of tasks for the homework. Marcus, again, already prepared the template in Canva where you can contribute so that we have it all at one place. So the first task, practice is create a personal Scrum board. Very easy. Choose one personal goal. Again, please link it to your professional development. So choose one of the competencies in coaching, choose one item that is relevant to the coaching field. Set up a digital board, I guess rather digital, it's going to be the Canva, and track your progress for 1 week. So decide on one of the competencies, and during the 1 week, write down what you have done, what small steps you are doing. Define a daily stand-ups so that you have defined how you want to do your 5-minute self-reflection. And if there are some adjustments that are needed upon your stand-ups, please write it down too. So write us down how you want to do your 5 minutes self-reflection a day. And the last task, prepare for us a very, very mini case study. Choose one of the coaching sessions you might have, or one of your coaching client in general. It doesn't have to be like now, just you have the whole project to practice it, or the rest of the project, and document one coaching interaction when you used Scrum. Write down what was the goal, how you used it, how it worked, and what were the successes or challenges of the course. It can be a very short thing, like 1 page or something, just documentation of one mini case study, how and when you used the Scrum tool. Okay? You will receive this presentation. It's written there, the homework, and it's also in the Canva template. Am I right, Marcus?
Yes.
Thank you. Do you have any questions about the homework?
Yes.
Yes, sure.
When we have to deliver this?
Yeah.
Up to when?
Up to, yeah. I mean, up to the meeting in Austria.
Let's say up to the next webinar, maybe. No, the next webinars will be May 13 and 20. I just put it in the chat.
Okay, maybe up to the next webinar, because it still means that you have some time, and then we will have this webinar done, and we can open a new one. That's true. That's correct, Marcus. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, thank you, Georgia. Any more questions? Somebody else? No, seems like no. So please pay attention also to the first homework from the last week, and then pay attention to this homework so that we have it perfect. So Marcus, I am passing my word back to you.
Perfect timing, Dita. 10 minutes before the end. No, everything has been done. We will send out to everybody, not just you guys. First of all, you guys, amazing that you joined us despite of challenges in your personal life and sitting 3 hours in front of the computer. So we really, really, really appreciate. And we will try to motivate the group a bit more for the next webinars to have a bit more. No, today we had 8 participants. Last time we were more than half. That was good. So thanks, really. We really, really appreciate. We will send out soon the recording, the slides, the handouts with the link to Canva. So you have a full collection, the full package. We'll just go over it with the layout and a bit of editorial changes. And yeah, the next webinars will be in May 13 and 20, and this time with new people that even we don't know yet. They are experts from Italy on the topic of holacracy, yeah, which is another nice methodology that is very popular in many sectors, also in the NGO and civil society sector. And we will see how we can use also this approach for coaching and for our civil society organizations and our projects. So we're very much looking forward to this time really working with external experts also. And again, if you have other people who would like to join, the webinars are not limited to us, the group of permanent participants. If you have other colleagues in the organization or staying with us, we're sending out the material soon. Thank you, Dita, of course, Expertina, for the great job you did, and Vasilis for always being in the safe Greek hands technologically. And with this, we hope you have a great time. We see, of course, in the supervision groups, etc. Physically, we will meet in June in Austria, and online as a group in May for the webinars. Yeah. So thanks a lot, and yeah, enjoy the cold weather while it still lasts.
True. Marcus, thank you for the great facilitation and your great support as always. Yeah, it's so great to know that you have somebody behind your back and with good purposes only. And it's amazing to have colleagues like you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good, guys. Keep supporting each other and reach out to us anytime for anything, of course. anything related to the project.
Yeah, thank you for this.
Or Austrian recipes or whatever.
Austrian recipes, yes.
And think already what you want to cook when we meet in June. Huh? We need support from the group in cooking.
Yeah.
Ciao, people.
Ciao.
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 Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Bye.